You're 12 weeks pregnant, and suddenly everyone in your life has become a gender prediction expert. Your mother-in-law takes one look at how you're carrying and declares with absolute certainty that you're having a girl because you're carrying high and wide. Your coworker swears the wedding ring test has never been wrong. Your sister insists your glowing skin and sweet cravings mean pink nursery walls are in your future. And honestly, the speculation is half the fun of pregnancy. There's something magical about these old traditions that connect generations of women, whether you're team find out or team surprise. If you're enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button so you never miss our pregnancy and parenting content. Today we're examining 7 of the most common signs people claim predict you're having a girl. And we're exploring what scientific research actually reveals about their accuracy. You'll discover which predictions have interesting correlations, which are complete myth, and why we love these traditions even when science says they can't really tell us much. Because here's the thing. You can enjoy the bonding experience of gender prediction while understanding what actually determines your baby's sex, and when you'll know for certain. Let's start with the most cited physical sign, carrying high and wide. You've probably heard this one from almost everyone who's seen your bump. The belief says that when you carry your baby higher in your abdomen with a wider weight distribution, you're definitely having a girl. Meanwhile, carrying low and pointed supposedly means boy. Your relatives might even argue about this at family dinners, in each convinced they can tell just by looking at your silhouette. Here's what actually determines how you carry. Your abdominal muscle tone plays a huge role. If this is your first pregnancy and your ab muscles are still tight, you'll likely carry differently than someone on their third baby whose muscles have stretched before. Your body type matters too. Your height, your torso length, your natural build. All of these affect how and where your baby sits. And your baby's position at any given moment changes how your bump appears. None of these factors have anything to do with whether you're carrying XX or XY chromosomes. The science backs this up clearly. A 1999 study from Johns Hopkins looked at 104 pregnant women and tracked whether carrying position predicted their baby's gender. The result? In carrying position was correct only 43% of the time. That's actually worse than flipping a coin. If these signs worked, we'd see accuracy above 50%, not below it. How you carry is about your unique body and this specific pregnancy, not your baby's chromosomes. You're growing a human perfectly, whether you're carrying high, low, wide, or pointed. Now let's talk about fetal heart rate, because this myth is everywhere. You've probably heard that heart rates below 140 beats per minute indicate boys while higher rates suggest girls. Someone might even listen to your ultrasound at an appointment and make predictions based on the numbers they hear. It sounds scientific because we're talking about actual measurements, right? Here's what you need to know about fetal heart rate. The normal range is 110 to 160 beats per minute for a healthy baby. That rate varies throughout the day based on your baby's activity level and sleep cycles. An active baby has a faster heart rate. A sleeping baby's heart rate slows down. The rate also changes as your pregnancy progresses. Earlier in pregnancy, heart rates tend to be faster. Then they gradually slow as your baby grows. Multiple studies have examined whether heart rate correlates with gender. A 2006 study published in Fetal Diagnosis and Therapy analyzed 966 births. The researchers found absolutely no correlation between fetal heart rate and baby's sex. Zero. Your baby's heart rate tells your healthcare provider important information about their health and development. It reveals whether they're getting enough oxygen, whether they're responding normally to activity and rest. But it cannot tell you whether to paint the nursery pink or blue. Your baby's heartbeat is beautiful and meaningful for what it actually indicates, which is that they're growing strong. Let's move to everyone's favorite topic, cravings. The charming notion says that intense sweet cravings mean you're having a girl, while salty and savory cravings indicate a boy. If you're eating ice cream by the pint or can't stop thinking about chocolate cake, people love to announce you must be carrying a daughter. It's such a widespread belief that you've probably analyzed your own cravings, wondering if there's any truth to it. Here's what actually causes pregnancy cravings: your hormones, particularly progesterone, and surge during pregnancy and affect your taste perception and appetite regulation. Your body's nutritional needs change as your baby grows, sometimes creating intense desires for specific foods. Blood sugar fluctuations can trigger cravings for quick energy sources like sweets, and cultural food associations play a bigger role than we often realize. If your culture associates certain foods with comfort or celebration, you're more likely to crave them during the emotional intensity of pregnancy. Research shows that between 50 and 90% of pregnant women experience cravings at some point. That's totally normal and expected. But studies have found no consistent pattern linking specific types of cravings to your baby's sex. Some women carrying girls crave French fries and pizza. Some women carrying boys can't get enough fruit and desserts. Your ice cream obsession is real, it's valid, and it's completely normal. It's just not a gender indicator. Enjoy what sounds good to you without trying to decode it as a prediction. Here's where the science gets genuinely interesting: severe morning sickness and gender. Notice I said severe. We're talking about hyperemesis gravidarum, which is the medical term for morning sickness. So intense it requires medical intervention, sometimes even hospitalization. This is different from regular morning sickness that most women experience. The mechanism behind this correlation is fascinating. Female fetuses are associated with higher levels of HCG and estrogen in the mother's body. These elevated hormones may intensify nausea and vomiting in susceptible women. And multiple studies have found that women hospitalized for hyperemesis gravidarum are 50 to 80% more likely to be carrying girls than women with typical morning sickness or no nausea at all. But here's the crucial nuance: most women with regular morning sickness don't show this pattern. It's specifically the severe cases that show correlation. If you're dealing with typical first trimester nausea, even if it's miserable and making your life difficult, that doesn't predict gender one way or another. And even among women with hyperemesis, 20 to 50% are still carrying boys. So while this is the one sign with actual scientific backing, it's still not a reliable predictor for any individual pregnancy. Any level of morning sickness is absolutely miserable and completely valid, irregardless of whether you're growing a daughter or a son. Your struggle is real, even if it doesn't match the statistical patterns. Let's address the pregnancy glow and skin changes. The belief says that radiant skin, thick, lustrous hair, and that coveted pregnancy glow indicate you're having a girl. Meanwhile, acne and dull hair supposedly suggest a boy. There's even a cruel version of this myth that says girls steal their mother's beauty. Let's clear this up right now. Estrogen increases for all pregnancies, regardless of your baby's sex. That's just how pregnancy works. Estrogen affects your skin texture, your oil production, and your hair growth cycles. Some women glow with dewy skin and gorgeous hair. Some women break out like they're back in high school. Some women experience both at different stages of the same pregnancy. Your individual hormone response and your natural skin type determine how your complexion behaves, not your baby's gender. Your skin might be clearer than ever, or dealing with breakouts you haven't seen in years, and neither tells you anything about whether you're having a daughter or a son. However your skin behaves during these 9 months, you're growing an entire human being. That's the real glow, and it has nothing to do with whether your complexion cooperates with your pregnancy photos. Now let's talk about something deeply personal: maternal intuition. Many women report just knowing their baby's sex before any medical confirmation. Some describe it as a feeling, a dream, or a certainty they can't quite explain. This intuition feels powerful and real, and if you've experienced it, that feeling is absolutely valid. The bond you're forming with your baby is profound and meaningful. Here's what the statistics show. Studies tracking maternal intuition about baby's gender find that mothers are correct approximately 50% of the time. That's exactly what we'd expect from random chance, the same as guessing or flipping a coin. This doesn't diminish the validity of your connection to your baby. It doesn't mean your maternal instincts are wrong or unimportant. It simply means our intuitions about gender specifically aren't more accurate than chance. What matters most is the profound bond you're already building with your baby, regardless of whether your gut feeling matches the ultrasound result. Your intuition about your baby's needs, their personality, their temperament once they're born, that's going to prove incredibly valuable. You're learning to tune into this little person you're growing. The fact that you can't intuit their chromosomes doesn't make your connection any less real or powerful. You're their mother, and that knowing runs deeper than whether you guessed pink or blue correctly. Finally, let's address a newer trend that's gone viral online: skull theory. This is the claim that analyzing your baby's skull shape and jaw angle on early ultrasound images can predict gender as early as 12 weeks. The theory says a rounded skull with a tapered chin indicates a girl, while a blockier skull and more prominent jaw suggests a boy. You've probably seen people posting their ultrasound photos asking others to analyze the skull shape and make predictions. Here's the reality: no peer reviewed research supports this method. None. The subtle skull variations visible on early ultrasounds are affected by so many factors that have nothing to do with gender. Your baby's position during the scan changes how their skull appears. The ultrasound angle matters. Gestational age affects development, and individual genetics mean babies of both sexes have varied skull shapes. Even experienced sonographers with years of training can't reliably determine gender until your anatomy scan between 18 and 22 weeks. That's when your baby's genital development is visible enough for accurate determination. And even then, baby's position sometimes makes it impossible to see clearly. Trying to predict gender from a 12-week skull image is like trying to predict adult height from a baby's foot size. Too many variables, too much development still ahead. The real ultrasound magic isn't questionable skull measurements. It's seeing your baby move for the first time, watching that flutter of a heartbeat on screen, witnessing the miracle of growth happening inside you. That's what matters at those early appointments. So, where does all this leave you? Enjoy the prediction games and family bonding without making major decisions based on signs. Let your mother-in-law analyze your bump and your coworker perform the ring test. Participate in the old wives' tales and cultural traditions. They're part of the joy and anticipation of pregnancy, connecting you to generations of women who've wondered and guessed and celebrated this mystery. But save the paint purchases and name decisions for after medical confirmation at your anatomy scan, or for the birthday surprise if you're team surprise. And understand that your symptoms and carrying patterns reveal real information about your pregnancy health, your body's response to growing a baby, your unique experience of these 9 months. They just don't reveal your baby's chromosomes. Trust the ultrasound when the time comes. Enjoy the guessing games for what they are, which is entertainment and tradition and bonding. And celebrate the baby you're already falling in love with, the one you're getting to know through kicks and hiccups and midnight dance parties, regardless of whether they match the predictions everyone's been making. Your body is unique. This pregnancy is unique. And the baby you're growing is already exactly who they're meant to be, whether the old signs got it right or not. However you're carrying, whatever you're craving, whoever is making predictions, you're doing this pregnancy journey beautifully.